The broadcast is now starting. All attendees are in listen-only mode.
Good morning, everyone. It is about 10:01, so we are going to try to get started on schedule for this week's webinar. If everyone could, please, I've got everyone muted only because there tends to be quite a bit of feedback when we have this many people on the webinars, and if some people are on Bluetooth, some people are on speakerphone, it tends to get a little bit noisy. So what I would like you to do is, if you do have any questions, to use the chat feature that should be on the right-hand side of your screen in the GoToWebinar little toolbox. So if you want to test that out, if you want to make sure that you know how to use that, you're more than welcome to do so right now. There's also a way that you can ask questions as well by using the questions feature, so you can use that as well. If I do see a question that's asked that I know that we are going to be addressing later on in the webinar, I won't address it at that point. So again, if at any time you have any questions with anything that I'm going over, just use the chat feature, or you can use the questions feature to ask the question that you're concerned about at that time. So I don't know if I have any repeat attendees from 2 weeks ago for this webinar, but we did have such a high response for this webinar that we decided to do it again, or I decided to do it again. And it sounds like we've had a lot of great feedback, and agents are having a better understanding of their website and for the way that they can earn a few more points for their web score, as well as making their websites look a little bit more unique and not like every other agent's within the company. So what I'm going to do first is just show you basically where you would access your website and how you would access all of the features so that you can edit and customize all of the features within your CBWM or CBWMH website. When you are in Online Office, you will go to the Administration tab at the very top. No matter where you are in Online Office, all of these tabs will always be visible for you to see. So at any point, anywhere that you are in Online Office, those tabs never go away. So you'll click on the Administration tab. Mine is going to look a little bit different than yours, only because I have an admin access for Online Office and you have an agent access. So what you are likely going to see is actually a snapshot of all of your information when you click on the Administration tab. Do yourself a favor now, and when you click on that Administration tab, make sure that all of your information is correct. Make sure that there's not any misspellings, that the address is correct for the office that you're located in, all of that information, because that information is auto-fed into not only your Online Office website, but also any marketing materials that you should send out through the Customer Connect Marketing Center in Online Office. So make sure that that information is correct. If you see any misinformation, contact Allison or Kim in the marketing department and they will fix that right away. So again, mine's going to look just a little bit different than yours, but the same, you need to go the same area that I'm going to go in, which is going to be your website builder. So when you are in your website builder and when you decide to take some time to work on this, there's a few suggestions that I like to tell everyone just for editing purposes and so that you can make sure that everything is looking okay as you build your website. The way that I like to do this is have Online Office open, and I also like to open up another tab and go to my actual live website. The reason being is because anytime I make any changes in Online Office and then click Save, I can then go right to my website, click Refresh, and see the changes as they're made. I don't want to spend a lot of time building all of the different components of the website only to have me not be completely happy with its appearance and the way that it looks. So try to have a couple of tabs open so that you can go back and forth between the two as you go along. Okay, so what I'm going to do today is basically just explain to you all of these different tabs, what each component is within the website builder, and where that then goes on your actual live website. So the very first tab that we will come to when you go into the website builder is the Set Your Look. So any of you that have had the websites for quite some time when we first started using Where to Live in Online Office, you didn't have these options. It was pretty cookie cutter, kind of a fill-in-the-blank type template, and everyone's websites looked the same for the most part. So we've actually changed some things recently, giving you quite a bit more options to customize your website and make it look different than everyone else's. So this has been a really great feature. The themes for the website actually have taken on a little bit more of a social media feel. Visually, they're a lot nicer, and we've actually given you some choices so that you can customize the way that your homepage looks in regards to that background photo, which is really similar to a Facebook look. So I don't remember what the default is. I want to say that the suburban neighborhood, may be the default theme when you log in to Online Office, but you can go through these different themes and actually just select the one that you think looks a little best. If it's middle of winter, if you want to choose something that doesn't have bright flowers in it, I would suggest you do so. Marketing may be adding different photos to this later on down the line, but right now we're just working with the template that they've given us, and these are the photos that you have to choose from. So the only other option that you need to look at changing on this very first tab is basically your photo, which, number one, hopefully you already have a photo on your website. Your website photo accounts for 10 points on your web score every month. So make sure that you do have a photo there. The only other thing that you need to worry about is if you want your photo to be circle or square. And it is as simple as those few options on that tab. So make sure, again, that you have a photo. Make sure that you have went into this very first tab and selected your theme if you want something different than the default that's already there. And then decide if you want a square picture or a round picture. And it's pretty much as simple as that. Okay, so if you do make any changes, as a habit, go ahead and click Save and make sure that you've saved any changes that you've made on that tab, and you'll go ahead and click to the next tab. So this is where we actually start to put some information in about ourselves, customize it a little bit, and start making it look a little different than every other agent's within the website. This is where it is, again, very handy to have your other tabs open with your website live, because this is where you're going to start to see some changes taking place. So I'm going to just go down all of the different components here and start with my title. So I don't believe, as a default, you have anything in this area. So if you are an associate broker, if you are a commercial specialist, if you are a residential specialist, whatever you'd like to put in there for your title is completely up to you. So I'm going to go to my website and show you under my name right here in the screen is where your title is going to show up under your name. So if you choose to not put something there, just know that you're not going to have a title under your name. It's not going to say title with nothing there. You're just not going to have any text under your name. So it's going to be completely up to you. That's going to really be the case for a lot of these things that we add. Don't think that if you don't put something there that it's going to be an obvious blank area in your website. Really, no one will know any different except you, knowing that you have these areas that you can customize whether you'd like to or not. Now, the next part of your website is where you're actually going to be able to link people to some of your social media websites. Again, going back to my live website and scrolling down, you can see under my snapshot of my information, I've got just some of the little social media logos that are there within my website. All of these are live links, and you can see I've got 4 here: Facebook, Twitter, LinkedIn, and YouTube. If I go back to the website builder, you can see those are the only 4 that I actually have any links put into. I don't have anything in for Google Plus or Pinterest. So again, it's not going to put the icon there if you don't put the link in. Now, this is where we can kind of debate a little bit about how much information we want to share. I really don't suggest you sharing your personal Facebook page on your business page, on your CBWM website. If you don't have a Facebook business page, you are more than welcome to share the link to our company Facebook page. Maybe your office has its own Facebook page. You can share that as well. Same goes for the Twitter, LinkedIn, any of these social media sites. You have the ability to really link them anywhere that you want them to end up. I will let you know that LinkedIn has been the only one that's been a little bit tricky. You actually, when you are in LinkedIn, signed in as yourself, you actually have to do a few extra steps and customize the link within LinkedIn. At the end of this webinar, I'm going to send everyone instructions on how to do that to just make your life a little bit easier so that you can share the correct link and everything will work should anybody be on your website and click on any of those links. It's a really great feature. Again, it gives it a nice customization feel. It allows for other things for people to click on. For example, if someone did click on my LinkedIn, you can see it's going to take them to my professional public page for LinkedIn. So again, just another feature. If you'd like to add those, you're welcome to. If you don't want to add them, just know that you won't have any of those social media icons on your page showing up under your information. Okay, the next feature is the Text Me button. Going back to my live page, you can see right here is that feature. Click here to text me. Should a customer or client click on that Text Me button, you can see a pop-up is going to come up that actually captures their first name, last name, phone number, and any message that they want to send to you. So what happens at that point? At that point, if you've activated that feature and actually put in your cell phone or mobile phone number, once the client or customer fills out that information, you will receive a text on your phone with all of the information that they've given you, and you're also going to get an email to your CBWM email with the same information. So it's a great lead capture program. If you don't put your cell phone number in and click that allow for text, the button will actually still be there, and the client won't know any different, and they'll think that they're texting you, but that information will actually just only go to your email. So take the time to put that information in there as well. It's a great feature. If you're out and about and you're not in front of your computer to see that email and you get a text knowing that someone is on your website at that time, it's a great feature to be able to call them right back. So moving forward on the website builder, you see this option right here is called search heading. So by default, there shouldn't be anything there for any of you before you customize this. So where does this end up? Any text that you put in this box is actually just going to show up right above your search bar. So this is kind of a cool feature that you can customize this a little bit more than just having the search bar there empty. You could customize it to the extent of search Robin's listings, let Robin find your dream home, and then have that above your search bar. So that's a great way for you to customize all of that information right above, above the search bar. Okay, so again, if you don't put anything in this area, nothing will show up above that search bar, but the search bar will still be there. Select your languages. This one's pretty self-explanatory. Anything that you want to show up under your information for which languages you speak, go ahead and activate any of them there. if there's something that you want to add, I believe English may actually be the default there. If you wanted to add another language, all that you have to do is actually click on the language, click Add, and it's going to add it to the list that's going to show up on your website. So going back up to the top here, the next area that we have that we can customize is the title tag. So where does this show up? You can see right here I have Robin Walker, Director of Education and Recruiting. If you actually look up at the top of my screen and you see this tab right here, which is actually my website, if I click on that, number one, see when I hover over it, there's that title tag, and actually I've created a title for that tab when it's open in someone's browser. So that's the only thing that that does. Again, I don't know if this one has anything in a default feature. It may just say CBWM or it may just say your name. So take the time to customize that a little bit. Again, when a tab is open, you can see my name is clearly on the tab, just like the Coldwell Banker is. And then again, I have a YouTube tab open right here, and you can see that that's titled. So take the time to title that. It's just kind of nice if you've got a consumer that has a lot of websites open at that time. They're going to be able to identify your tab a little easier. Okay, the description. You definitely have something here by default. I don't recommend you changing it. All that this is the brief description of your website. Should someone be searching for you on Google or other search engines online, when you do a search on Google or any other search engine, you come up with a list of results. And under those, each result is a brief description of what that website is. That's what this is. So I don't recommend changing this at all. Marketing has done a good job with the keywords that need to be found on search engines. So I would leave this one alone. Again, everyone should have something there by default in that box. The next section down is the add a link to another website. You can see I don't have anything here right now. But let's just say that I used to have a vanity website, or I still have a vanity website that's active. A lot of agents had something along these lines. I'll say my website was robinwalkersells.com. So I would put that link there. Again, remember to save. And I will show you where that one shows up. I'll refresh my website. If I click on the more contact information, you can see here is where the additional website would show up under your information. So should you want to add an additional website, that's where that would show up. Okay, last option on this tab is the target audience. Everyone's by default should be no specialty. So what does this part do? Right now, if you have no specialty and you have customers on your website performing searches, they're going to be able to pull all results based on any available listings, whether it's luxury, commercial, or residential. If you decided to change this to commercial, luxury, rental, which means that you're really going to be restricting what a customer can find when they're using the search function in your website. So unless you are 100% rental or 100% commercial, I really wouldn't restrict this at all. Only because you want people to be able to use your search to the fullest function that they possibly can and bring up all search results, not just a specific market such as the commercial, luxury, or rental. So that is pretty much it on that tab. Pretty self-explanatory, basically just some customizing features that you have with the social media, being able to give yourself a title, to customize the title tag, and also we talked about the text me feature and the search heading, which is that text that you can customize above the search bar on your website. Moving to the next tab, build your homepage. So this is going to be really the meat and the potatoes of your website. This is going to be where all of the content is. Anything that you add in this area, is going to be showing up on your homepage. So you can see right here you've got wide column and narrow column. Going back to my website, you can see we've got a wide column right here and then a narrow column as I scroll down. So anything that you put in the wide column will show up pretty much in the larger portion of your website, and the narrow column will be on the right-hand side. So what do you put there? How do you put it there? What should you put there? This is the part that's going to really take you the longest to customize this area. If you had a website already in existence before we switched over to this new format, a lot of the things actually will have migrated over, but they might just be in some different spots. So you're going to have to kind of see if you've got anything there and decide if you want to move things around. If you already did have some areas customized before we switched over, you're going to see that they will be showing up here in the wide column. If you haven't added anything to your website and you've never customized it at all, this area should be completely blank, and you're going to start adding modules. So what's a module? Let's see right here. My first module that I had added said, "Who's Robin? What does she do?" Looking back at my live website, you can see here's the "Who's Robin? What does she do?" and then here's the brief verbiage underneath it. This whole area is one module. The next module down here would be another one, working with our agents. Pretty much anything that you see in bold is going to be the title, and then anything underneath it is going to be the content of that module. So what do you add here? What should you put here? Really, anything goes for the most part. I definitely think that you should have some sort of a bio, some sort of a brief description. I also think that you should add as many pictures, as many videos as possible. I think that you should have some type of a work background, any type of experience that you can provide them with, and definitely something along the line of client testimonials. Those are all great things to add. So how would you add a module, and what would you do? Anytime that you want to add anything to this wide column, you would just click Add Module. So these are the choices that you have for that wide column. You could add a slideshow. The content section, which is what all of these are, basically allowing you to customize it and make anything a module. Again, this is where you would title it. Maybe I would put Happy Clients. And then here I would cut and paste or have a photo with some of my past clients and put those in this area, clicking OK, and then it would shove the module right into the list that's here. You really don't need to worry about the order of things as they're coming through, because you're actually going to have the ability to shuffle things around a little bit. You don't really need to worry about where you're putting them when you build your website. Just add as many modules as possible and then start moving them around based on where you think they would look better. Again, remember, anytime you move any of those around, add a new module, please make sure that you click Save, because you want to make sure that you don't put a ton of effort into this and then nothing is saved when you really start customizing it. So back to the wide modules. Again, here are the different options of the things that you can add into the home page. So I've explained what the content section is. Basically, that's anything that you want it to be. That could be, again, the client testimonials. That could be some of your past work experience, whatever you want that to be. The slideshow. This is actually where you have the ability to add a photo slideshow into your website. That's another great feature. Maybe this is an area that on a monthly basis you update and you put just nice high-definition photos of some of your solds for that month. Maybe you just attended a farm market or a carnival or a winter festival and you want to share some pictures from something along those lines. on your website. Again, great thing to do. We have to remember, basically anymore, people don't really read a whole heck of a lot. We are very visual in this day and age, so anytime that you can add photos to tell your story or even videos to tell your story, you're going to have a higher likelihood of people actually looking at your content than if you write this long essay talking all about yourself and your community when you could really just swap that out for a 30-second video and accomplish the same thing. You have the ability to add your listings to this wide column as well. If you add my listings, now for me, I don't have any listings, so one's going to be a difficult example. But if you click on the My Listings and click Next, Online Office knows what listings you have. So you don't need to do anything more than customize the title should you want to do that. I could put Robin's Listings and leave it at that. Click OK. Now you can see it should have added it to the very bottom. Now here's that new module that I added. Again, you don't actually have to add the listings because Online Office knows what listings you have right now. Now let's say I made a mistake and I don't want that module there. Just click the X and that whole module will go away. The last module that you can add to this wide column is actually a YouTube video. Again, this is a great feature. If you're already doing videos and you're putting them on YouTube, this is one of the simplest features that you can use within Online Office. All that you would have to do is click that option. This is just going to kind of give you a snapshot as to how that module is going to look. Click Next. All that you have to provide, the only mandatory thing that you have to provide is the URL for that website. So how would you find that? If you've already put videos on YouTube before, you likely know how to share them and how to find the link. If you're not familiar with that, or if you don't have videos that you've already done but you would still like to incorporate a video into your website, I would recommend going to YouTube, going to Coldwell Banker National's YouTube channel, and using one of their videos. We have some really great marketing commercials right now. A lot of them have been highlighted recently at Gen Blue and Gen Blue in Michigan. So find one of those really cool videos. Let's see here. I'm going to search for, I believe we've got one of the new Home Sweet Home videos. So if I look at their playlist, I should be able to find, let's see here very quickly. Here are their 2014 ads. So this is really cool. So here's the Home Sweet Home video, the 30-second video, which would be perfect to put there. Here's the video that I want to share. Go down here to that share function underneath the video. And right here, already highlighted for you, is that link. I'm just going to copy that link. I'm going to go back to my website. I'm going to paste that link there. And I'm going to click OK. And that is all that I have to do. So let's take a look and see what that looks like. Now remember, I added that. And because I just added it, of course, it's going to be at the very bottom of my list. I'm going to click Save. I'm going to go back to my live website and click Refresh. And let's take a look at what that video looks like. Again, it should be at the very bottom. And there it is. So really cool feature right from this screen. It doesn't take them anywhere else, but keep them right on your web page. They're going to be able to view that video. So how cool would that be if you have your bio video or a client testimonial video that anyone that's on your website will be able to very quickly click on that video and watch it right on your website. Okay, so that pretty much sums up what you can do in the wide column. So now I'm going to move over to the narrow column. So again, looking at my website, the narrow column is what you're going to see here over on the right-hand side. We've got my blog, I do have this linked to Twitter, so we're taking a look at all of CBWM's tweets. You can see they're in real time, which is a really cool feature to add. So what can you do in the narrow column? I'm going to click on Add Module. Now, all of them aren't going to be showing up over here on this list right here because I actually have a couple of them already active. So a few things that people have asked questions about because they've been a new feature. One of the things is this lead generation form. People are wondering, what the heck is that and why does it show that I'm missing points on that? Well, correct. This is a new feature, and if you don't have it activated, you're missing out on potentially 2 points for your web score. So what is this? What does this do? If you wanted to add the lead generation form to your narrow column, which is the only place that it can go, you would click on that form. Again, this is just a snapshot as to what it looks like, could look like before you customize it, and click Next. Here is the actual form. So going to my website, you can see this one right here kind of gave you an idea of what it could be. Work with me, let me be your personal agent. Basically think of it as this. This is just another lead capture. That's all that this form is. However, remember that there's already probably 5 different ways that they can get in contact with you. So why not customize this a little? I used this customization form looking at my website. You can see what my form says. My lead form says, weekly social media and tech tips. Sign up here to receive weekly emails. And then I ask for first name, last name, email, and phone number. So for me, that's a really good option and a really good form to use. Because if I have agents that want to sign up for any tech tips or social media tips, that's how they can sign up for a newsletter. But if I was an agent, maybe this is something that I use to, again, capture potential listings. Maybe I would put, what's my home worth? And then in the form description, I could say, contact me for a free market analysis. And I spelled that wrong. Long day. So you can see how you can customize these forms. Another option would be get pre-approved. And then potentially here you could put contact me for information on how to get pre-approved for a loan. Anytime you customize that form, you can see here it's going to, if someone fills out that form, it's going to send me a notification in my email. And then I can also customize the subject line that comes to me. And I think that this is a really important feature because if you're like me and you're like most agents, you're getting a ton of emails every single day. And it's hard to distinguish what is what. So if you were going to customize this form, for example, and provide links to get pre-approved, potentially with your Talmer loan officer, in the subject line, I would customize this so that it rings a bell and it's very noticeable when it comes into your email. Maybe this is a pre-approval request. So when you do that, if someone fills out that form, you're going to get an email automatically sent to you letting you know that someone just filled out that form and what they're wanting from you. So this is a really great feature. Again, by activating that, you're going to get a few additional points on your website for your web score, and it's just another way to capture leads, but with a very specific purpose. So here's a few of the other things that I have active right now. I do have my Twitter feed active, but I don't have this linked to my Twitter. I actually have it linked to the company's Twitter, only because the company provides more social media-wise than I'm going to be doing from my own personal Twitter. So that's a really great feature when you're looking at your homepage. Again, these are live. This is right now in real time that this links up, and it's just a really great thing to provide your clients or customers that are on your website. Now, if you do link this to your personal Twitter, this is a really great feature because any clients or customers are going to be able to actually follow you right from your CBWM website. So same thing that you can do over here with the narrow, you can also do in the wide, which is the moving things around to kind of, you know, if you want things shuffled around in a different order, you have the ability to do that. So other things that you could add in this narrow, any featured properties, and again, because Online Office already knows what listings you have, if you have listings available, you're going to be able to select from those listings and feature specific properties. Same thing with the My Listings. You have the ability to do that in the wide column. You can also do that in the narrow. You can include videos just like we did in the wide column. Same thing with the slideshow. And the custom link button, what this does is actually provides them a quick link to another area within your website. So if you've built another area of your website and you want to quickly link them to that area, you can just put a custom link button on your right-hand side, and that button will stay there all the time, and then you can quickly direct them in other places. So the only other thing that I wanted to show you actually was in the wide column. That's a new feature that I have active right here, but I'm going to delete it so that we can start fresh and I can show you what that looks like. And we'll actually add it in the narrow column. The Communities tab. A lot of people were wondering what this is, and again, it probably shows up red in your web score if you haven't activated it right now. If you click on this Communities tab, just like all the other modules, it's going to give you a snapshot as to what that module is going to look like on your website. Just click Next. So what you need to look at here, this right here is going to be the default view of it. I personally think that this view looks a little nicer. So what this is we have a preset database of cities around us that you likely specialize in. So there's already information in there for those cities, population, demographics, that type of information is already built into the system. So all that you really need to do is tell the system what cities that you want to highlight. So I'm going to say that I want this view because I really like the snapshot view of the areas versus just a list of the cities. By default, it's going to be titled Communities, but I personally would customize that a little bit more, and I would put something, areas I specialize in. How many cities do I want to display? You can display all of the cities. However, I think less is more. 5 is a great number. The neighborhoods, we don't have any of the neighborhoods active in here. All that you have to select from is cities, so you don't need to worry about the neighborhoods at all. So the next thing I'm going to do is click Select Cities. Now this is where you're going to have to go through the list of cities and see which cities you would like to be highlighted on your website with areas that you serve. So let's say I'm going to go ahead and hold my control button down and I'm going to select a few different cities. I'm going to click Add and add those to the list. And then I'm just going to click OK. Okay, now see how this showed up right down here? I added another module to my narrow column. Now let's see what that looks like. I'm going to click Save. I'm going to go to my website and refresh it. Now let's see what that looks like. Here's areas I specialize in. So there is the city information. So let's just click on one of these, Beverly Hills. So you can see what's going to open up, which is really cool. It's basically information on that city. You can see right here for Beverly Hills, there are 63 active listings and 8 sold. So this is a really great database for you to utilize on your website, and you don't have to do anything other than activate that city. So that's a really great feature to have. So that pretty much sums up the Build Your Homepage tab, again, this part isn't going to take 5 minutes. This is going to take a little bit of time. Take some time building it, maybe a little bit at a time, add a few modules, but just know the more modules that you add, number one, the more content that you're going to have for people to look through and the more of a service that you're going to provide with people that are visiting your website. But you also potentially can earn more towards your web score. I know I keep saying that and I keep giving you point values for different modules. The other thing in addition that I'm going to send when this webinar is done, I will send that LinkedIn, how to customize your LinkedIn link so that you can incorporate that into your website. I actually have a list of 300 different topics that you could use for either blogging purposes, for modules within your website. And then I also will add a quick description as to what modules equal what points so that you can make sure you're getting, the most bang for your buck when you're customizing your website. So I'm going to leave this Build Your Website tab and I'm going to go to the Add More Pages. Okay, so the Add More Pages, where the heck do these show up, right? So these aren't even modules. These are additional pages within your website. So anything that you can add here, you can see I've got great schools, my favorite places to eat, and local chambers. So where do those show up on my website? Again, this is why it's really beneficial to have another tab open with your website live. So this is the home page for my website. What did I just say? The great schools, my favorite places to eat, and the local chambers. There they are at the very top. So anytime you add any of these additional pages, these actually do count as modules. So that will give you a few additional points. And it's just another area to provide a service. So great schools, my favorite places to eat, and local chambers. Those are probably things that potentially people moving to the area would want information on. So great schools, what did I put here? I actually cheated a little bit because how am I going to find every single bit of information on schools that are around this area? And you really don't want to give too much of an opinion based on what school is good, what school is bad. So what I've actually done is if you click on my Great Schools link, I've actually just linked them to greatschools.org. If they click on this link, they're going to be taken to greatschools.org and them all by themselves can look up any school that they would want to look up in the area. So these are just another customization feature that you can add anything that you want to add. We need to kind of get away from thinking that everything has to scream real estate and houses and listings and open houses. Remember that you're also selling a community. So talk a little bit about your community. Maybe in the winter you ski and you could create a page that says great places to ski. And then here, maybe you add some photos of yourself. Maybe you add a link that provides some information on what the trails are like for any given weekend. So, those are all great things that you can do to customize your website a little bit more and add some additional value besides just the real estate element with the listings and the solds and the open houses, so that you create a website that people will come to long after you've sold their house or you've sold them a home, because you're creating a sense of need and you have value there outside of just listings. So this is what you would add there. You also have the ability to add a few of these modules, same thing with before. So anytime anyone clicks on any of these additional links, you can see what's going to show up here to the right-hand side. This Contact Me area will always be there no matter what, but I've also elected to add the featured properties and my blog on this page as well. Now, just because I have 3 here, it doesn't mean that you can't have more than that. Let me show you what happens. So let's say that I did add another one called Great Places to Ski, and I click OK. You can see there it is. It added it to the bottom. I'm going to click Save. I'm going to go to my website and refresh. And now you can see it pushed these over a little bit, and now I've got more. So if I continued to add pages, which I could do so, this would end up just being a drop-down feature so that they could click on more information and click on those additional pages. Okay, so I'm going to move on to the select your area, so we're just about done. Select your area. What is this going to do? Number one, gives you a few additional points, so make sure that you are pinpointing the area that you're served, but really try to keep it broad. This will change the search functions a little bit when it comes to your clients on your page. So I wouldn't recommend, it being a 3-block radius, but I also wouldn't recommend it being the entire state. So, really try to customize the area that you are working in. Basically, where would you be willing to go? Where are you going to be willing to travel to show some homes? But also leave it a little bit open so that you still have that option for people contacting you and be able to send referrals as well if it is outside of your area. And that's really all that you need to do on that tab. The very last feature on the Build Your Website is the Create a Search Profile. So you can see I don't have anything here right now. So where does this information show up? If you have this area active, if a client was on our website and they were searching for an agent, I'm going to pick on the first one that I see, so Dave in Commerce. If I click on Dave, you can see his information is still here. I do have a quick link to his website, but now you also see all this text right here in this area, the Why Me. And here's just a quick, brief description as to why Dave thinks that someone should choose him as an agent. All of this information that Dave entered would be right here. So this would be his Why Me, this would be his description. So you really can be creative there with that. Same thing with any of the other modules. You have the ability to actually add photos and links there as well. So don't think that this just needs to be some brief, pick me. This can be something that has something visually to it. It could be a picture of you in front of a sold. Could be a picture of you with a recent happy client. Don't think that it needs to be anything more than really just a visual eye catch. It shouldn't be anything too wordy because, again, people are they need something very quick that they can read, and that's why a picture is probably going to be your best option with just a few words to choose from. And that's where that shows up. So again, make sure anytime you make any changes, go ahead and click Save. So that is pretty much it for what we were going to go over for the website today. I'm not sure if I had any additional questions that I didn't already answer. I don't see any here right now. So let me just say I'm going to go ahead and end the webinar today. I will, in the next probably 5 to 10 minutes, email you all those things that I promised. I'm going to email you the link that explains how to customize your LinkedIn URL. Also, how to, oops, I do have a question now. Oh, Karen asked, how many people are in this class? I have right now 34 people on the webinar. I think I had about 40 here last time. So pretty good turnout. So I will send that link for how to customize your LinkedIn URL. I will also send you that list of 300 different topics. So again, please try to think outside of the box. We all know that you have listings and open houses. Share other things that really no other agent can share. You are the expert for your community. You have information that you can give that is just as important as the open house that's going to be this Sunday. So make sure that you add additional things. So a list of 300 different things that you can share either in your blog or on your website. And then I'm also going to give you a very quick list as to how to know what modules are giving what points. Okay, I did have another question. Can you prioritize the order of the cities that show up in areas of specialty? Good question. Okay, so I'm actually going to go back to that area, which is the communities. So when I click on that communities tab, you can see I only have two options for how they're going to sort. So I can either sort them by listing count or alphabetically. So listing count, what does that mean? Basically how many listings are available in that area. That's what's going to show up first. So that's really going to be the only way that you can change how those cities show up on your website. I'm going to go back to my home page and see what I've got right now on mine. I believe mine are showing up. Scroll down to the bottom. Sorry, I don't want to make anybody dizzy. Yeah, it looks like mine are showing up in the number of listings because they're obviously not in alphabetical order. So if I clicked on Ann Arbor, looks like, right, 438 for active listings. And then let's see if I go to Canton, we've got 441, which that doesn't make sense. What was that one? 438. That one's more. So good question, and now I'm a little bit confused because I don't have the answer for that. So right now it looks like you only have the ability to sort them based on listings or alphabetically. This is why really I wouldn't choose too many. You can see as well if you do choose that option like I did to have a snapshot and a brief description. If you share any more than 4 or 5 or 6, you can see that list is going to just be crazy long if I were to share 20 different areas that I specialize in. So try to keep that more at a minimum, and I will find out what's going on with the reason that things aren't sorting correctly based on adding those cities and the listings. Okay, another question. Can you review again about adding more pages? For example, thegreatschools.org. Absolutely. Let me go back to that area. Remember, that was in the add more pages. So you're probably wondering, how did you get that picture in there? So all that I did, and depending on what type of a program or Mac or PC that you're using, you should have some capability of screen capturing what you can see on your computer. So that's all that I did. I went to this greatschools.org. I use a free feature. You can see it right over here on the right-hand side. I've got this little sun that I can actually, I'll move him up here so I can see it, or so you can see it. This is a free screen capture program, and I can share that information later on for you. I love to use this because it lets me screen capture anything that I see on my computer, and I can really narrow it down. So actually, I'm going to go ahead and just delete that so you can see exactly how I did it. So let's delete that completely. So if you wanted to mimic this and do the exact same thing that I've done, go to greatschools.org. What I wanted it to appear to be was basically another search function on my website. So what I did is I used my screen capture program. I screen captured this area right here, which is basically all that I'm doing is making a picture. And I'm saving it. And I'm going to call this Great Schools Picture so that I can find this on my computer, and I'm going to click Save. We'll put that, I'm just going to put it on my desktop so I can find it. So when I'm actually in my website, and if I wanted to build that page, I would click Blank Page and click Next. You can call this whatever you'd like to call it, but I'm going to put Great Schools. And so here is now where I need to put that photo on that page. This little box right here that shows the mountains, the little hills or mountains, if you hover over it, you can see it says Insert Image. I'm going to click that button. So what I need to do now is basically find that picture that I just saved on my computer. I'm going to click Choose File. I saved it on my desktop. Let's find it. And there it is. You can see there's the picture. So now, how do I get that and turn it into a link? If you click anywhere on the picture, you can see this edit feature comes up. If I click on that edit feature, this is asking me, where do you want this picture, where do you want people to go if they click on that picture? So I wouldn't title it. You really don't need to title this at all because, again, they're going to click on that search bar and it's going to take them right to that page anyway. So I would go back up to Great Schools. I'm just going to copy the URL, greatschools.org. I'm going to go back to my link. I'm going to paste that in my link. Now, this is the important feature. This option right here, open link in a new tab, make sure if you ever provide links to anyone that's on your website, make sure you choose this option. So what does this do? If you don't select this option, as soon as someone clicks on that picture, they're actually redirected from your website and taken to a totally different website. We don't want that to happen. We want them to still have your tab open for your website, but we want another tab to open for this greatschools.org. So I'm going to click Save. I'm going to click OK. And you can see it was added to the bottom of the list. I'm going to click Save again. And now I'm going to go to my website and refresh it. Go to the very top. And you can see now, because I did delete it and it got shoved to the bottom of the list, it's actually going to be under this More function. So if I click Great Schools, you can see what's going to come up is basically a link, which they don't realize that. They would click this right here to start typing, and it's going to open up an entirely new tab. You can see my tab is still open on their computer, but now they have the ability to search out any of the schools using my website. So hopefully that answered that question. Okay, I have another question here. If an agent has a designation that is not on the list, how do you get the new logo added in? Good question. I don't know. We have a preset list that's provided by Where to Live. I can find out. If you want to email me, rwalker@cbwm.com. I'm sure everybody probably has my address. If you want to email me and let me know what designation you have that's not there, we definitely can look into it. That's not a problem at all. Okay, I don't see any more questions coming in, so I am going to go ahead and end the webinar. I promise you in the next few minutes you will get that email from me. I also have recorded this webinar as well, so you can look for that recording later on in the day if you wanted to refresh your memory on some of the things that we talked about, and you'll be able to go through the webinar, fast forward, rewind, and watch it whenever you would like to watch it and kind of refresh your memory. So, okay, hopefully everybody has a great day. Hopefully you've taken something from this and you're going to be adding some great things into your website. So look forward to hearing from you. Let me know if you have any questions. Thanks again, guys. Bye-bye.